Don't forget to follow us to watch the tense battle scenes between Ukraine and Russia. Stay tuned for accurate and reliable news analysis. We are compiling unique images from the front lines for you. The images show Russian Garand UAVs, the fire that broke out after the attack in 𝗚𝗽𝗃 in the Kharkiv region, and the moment of the attack on the target in 𝗙ꝑ�. On the Donetsk side, the southern group's UAV operators revealed the strength of an enemy engineer. FPV operators launched a comprehensive fire attack, resulting in the destruction of a shelter and a hunter drone.
Don't forget to leave your opinion about the video in the comments, subscribe, and like.
FPV calculations by the 331st Airborne Division, which operates various systems, including Molniya II aircraft, show that their attacks achieve 100% accuracy when approaching various targets. These include firing positions in buildings, fortifications, and various types of equipment. Footage of an attack carried out by a drone operator with the call sign 𝗚𝗏, belonging to the 11th Airborne Guard Brigade against the enemy in the Sumy region. It was then destroyed in a pickup truck. Epic footage of the destruction of a firing point belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces. A Russian FPV drone operator was targeting an immobile enemy tank, but at the last moment, he noticed Ukrainian armed forces soldiers jumping out from behind the armored vehicle. The decision was made instantly. The priority changed, and one of the unexpected guests immediately disappeared into the bushes. No time for looting. Center fighters pulled out a damaged Ukrainian Armed Forces BMP. The vehicle was abandoned by the Ukrainians after a failed attack, shot at, and stopped. Each of these pieces of loot is not just metal. It is a sign of who really controls the battlefield. The 336th Guards Marine Infantry Brigade is inflicting fire damage on Ukrainian armed forces targets in Voskresenka. The 37th Guards Motorized Rifle Brigade is providing target control support. Assault units from Buryatia and the Baltic region are currently seriously weakening the enemy in this direction. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. Russian artillery is striking Ukrainian positions and shelters almost without pause. Russian UAV operators are using FPV UAVs on fiber optic cables to strike Ukrainian military vehicles. Fighters from the center group are destroying trenches in wooded areas manned by Ukrainian armed forces soldiers as they advance. Dnipropetrovsk region. Rubicon Information and Communications Center operators destroyed a Ukrainian Armed Forces 𝗙𝗪𝗪 tank stored in a hangar near the village of Myrnohrad with a series of attacks using FPV UAVs. The Ukrainian Rada was destroyed following an attack carried out by Lancet in the Kharkiv region. The radar station was hidden in a forest belt, but it was detected by a Supercam UAV. The target was destroyed by a direct hit from a munition that was flying around. Simultaneous destruction of a Ukrainian 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗪 tank by a UAV in the Novo-Economican region. Artillery paratroopers affiliated with the Ivanovo Airborne Forces are providing support to Russian assault units in the 𝗖𝗽_𝗪𝗂 region. The Russian Defense Ministry announced that fighters of the northern troops shot down a Ukrainian Baba Yaga-type hexacopter in the Kharkiv region.
Без маскировки не вариант вообще. Мне даже искать. У меня прыгает квадратик, находится.
According to TASS correspondent, 10 servicemen of the 23rd Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces surrendered in the direction of southern Donetsk. UAV operators and artillerymen of the 29th Guards All-Vostok Army destroyed the temporary deployment point and bunker of the armed forces of Ukraine in the settlement of Bogatyr. Zaporizhzhia direction. The Russian communicator was working on a tower. At that moment, an attack drone of the Ukrainian armed forces arrived. Without thinking, the soldier threw a piece of wood at the drone and successfully knocked it down. The soldier was slightly wounded and received the Courage Award. One of Ukraine's most expensive tanks, the T-72M1, was scrapped after successive attacks by Russian fiber-optic drones Prince Vandal of Novgorod. A few weeks later, the T-72M1 tank appears again in the drone's camera. It is now burnt out and almost destroyed. The crews of T-90M tanks of the Ivanovo and Kostroma paratroopers destroyed the Ukrainian armed forces strongholds located near the settlement of 𝗙𝗪𝗪 Yar in the Donetsk People's Republic, along with personnel. The temporary deployment point of the armed forces of Ukraine in the village of 𝗙𝗪𝗪 was destroyed by aircraft-type drone operators and artillery of the southern group. 8 servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine were killed, and a food and ammunition depot was destroyed.
Снимай его до конца.
𝗖𝗽 air defense drone kinetically intercepts a Ukrainian armed forces reconnaissance UAV under dense cloud cover.
Снимай.
Да! Да,
Снял?
Да, я тоже снял хуй.
Заебись, красавчики!
О, крылышко падает все.
Вон крылышко падает.
Выстрел!
Artillery shelling of 152mm HIACINTH-B howitzers of the Russian paratroopers destroyed a cannon on the right bank of the Dnieper River in the Kherson region and a Ukrainian Armed Forces UAV control center. Russian artillery units are shelling the positions of the Ukrainian armed forces with intense fire. The BMP-1 armored vehicle of the Armed Forces of Ukraine near Novy Mir in the Kharkiv region was spotted. The hatch of the mechanical drive of the abandoned armored vehicle was left open. The Russian fiber-optic drone slowly glided in through the open hatch and scrapped the armored vehicle. Why would they have abandoned it with the hatch open? Russian fiber-optic drone operators, Prince Vandal of Novgorod, destroyed everything that the Ukrainian armed forces camouflaged and hid among the trees. Howitzers, armored vehicles, pickups. Ukraine's REB systems cannot shoot down fiber-optic drones. This is because fiber-optic drones are connected to the UAV control point by a fiber cable. There is a powerful and heavy ammunition on the drone. This ammunition, which is destroyed upon impact, can turn almost everything into scrap. In the videos, we often see armored vehicles being abandoned with their doors left open. Why do Ukrainian soldiers do this? Do they forget because of panic, or don't care because they don't pay? This is how Russian artillery destroyed the UAV control point of the Ukrainian armed forces in the direction of Zaporizhzhia.
Угломер 57-12, 𝗚𝗹25 полный, навести, зарядить.
Наведено, заряжено.
Орудие, выстрел!
Atmospheric video of the Ukrainian armed forces attempting to cross the DPR's 𝗙𝗏 village with an M113 armored personnel carrier. Two 𝗙𝗲ance buildings were attacked in Kryvyi Rih. Drone operators from the Southern Forces Group 3rd Combined Arms Army are destroying electronic equipment used by the Ukrainian armed forces for FPV drones. Footage of combat operations carried out by the Russians. North direction. Soldiers of the 102nd Regiment of the 150th Motorized Rifle Division of the 8th Guards, Combined Arms Army of the Russian Armed Forces, are clearing positions from the Ukrainian armed forces infantry. Some of the Ukrainian infantry cannot withstand the intensity of the fire and decide to surrender, thus saving their own lives. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. Su-34 crews of the Vostok Group of the 11th Guards Air Force and Air Defense Army, using FAB-500s of the 𝗠MPK, attacked air infiltration points of the armed forces of Ukraine in the villages of 𝗙𝗹𝗹 and Demidovka. During aerial reconnaissance near the village of 𝗙𝗪𝗁 in the Kharkiv region, the operator of the northern UAV revealed the location of Ukraine's camouflaged electronic warfare station. A kamikaze drone using fiber optics managed to approach the target without interference and inflict fire damage to it. Russian reconnaissance drone operators revealed the reinforcement group of the Ukrainian armed forces. After precisely calculating the coordinates, the aircraft-type UAV was activated and dealt a hard blow to the position. The position and equipment were destroyed. Russian drone operators revealed the Ukrainian armed forces' UAV control point during reconnaissance. Then, using fiber optic drones, they destroyed the UAV control bunker. In addition, UAV antennas were also destroyed. Later, during aerial reconnaissance, attack drones found two S-1 𝗙𝗹𝗹 self-propelled howitzer in the same direction and struck it in succession, destroying expensive equipment. One engineering equipment was also found and destroyed during the strikes.